Welcome to Fort City Commerce class. Please subscribe to my channel and like, share and comment. In this video, I am discussing another method in time series analysis to measure the trend, that is moving average method. Let's start. Moving average method. In moving average, we can see 3-yearly, 5-yearly and 4-yearly moving average. I will explain these things with an example. So, we shall know the meaning of moving average now. The term moving is used because every time when a new observation is considered, the average is going to move. So just as it told, average means we have to calculate the arithmetic mean of values for a certain period of time and we place those averages in the center of that time. The time may be 3 years or 5 years or 4 years. So the average is moving. With the example, you can know how the average will move. For example, if we take year as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and values will be A, B, C. The variable values, it may change. So in case of 3-yearly moving average, first, as the name only suggests, 3 years. So first we have to consider 3 years values and we have to average it. That is A plus B plus C divided by 3. As 3 years we have to consider divided by 3. Next, for the next average, we have to take the value D and we have to replace it with, means A is replaced with D. So the next new average is B plus C plus D divided by 3. Again, B is replaced with E. Next 3 years is considered. So the moving average is C plus D plus E divided by 3. So these moving average should be placed in the center of that. In 3 years moving average, we have to place this average value in the second year value of that part. Next value is moving to D plus E plus F divided by 3. When the last value is considered, the calculation moving average will be stopped. Next we can't calculate because next 3 years are not available for us. F is the last observation which is considered. If we want to calculate means then we have only E and F values. So therefore when the last observation is considered for calculating the moving average, we have to stop the process. By that we can get the 3-yearly moving averages. So we have to plot the y values on the graph and for the trend line we have to plot the data of 3-yearly moving average. In the 3-yearly moving average, we will not get the value for the first year and the last year. It will start from the second year and before the last year it will end. So in case of 5 years, the same procedure will be followed and the averages are placed at the third year center of the year. Means if in case 5 years we consider, means the center of the moving average will be third year. So at the third year we have to place the values. So 5 years have to consider and divided by 5 we have to make. In case of 4-yearly moving average, we have one more step. First, we have to find out the 4-yearly moving average. In case of 4-yearly moving average, so first 4 years will be considered and it has to place in the middle. So the middle years are 2 and 3. So in between those years, the value has to be placed. The average value has to be placed and it has to be divided by 4. We named it as T1, that is A plus B plus C plus D divided by 4 and it has to be placed in between second and third year. Next, moving it to, we replace A value with a E and middle is third and fourth year. So we have to place in between a third and fourth year. That is B plus C plus D plus E divided by 4. Same we have to do it for next. So the last observation is considered and it will end the moving average calculation. So here C plus D plus E plus F divided by 4. Next, as the average values are in between second and third, or third or fourth and fifth. While drawing the graph, it is not appropriate to draw between second and third. We have to make or align it for a particular year. So for that purpose, one more step is considered in 4-yearly average. When the moving average is considered for even years, so then one more step has to be done, that is centering. In case of centering, the average values are calculated. So we have to center it, means we have to align it for a particular year. So in that case, we have to add the first two moving average. Two will be considered here. So first T1 plus T2 divided by 2. It has to be placed in between T1 and T2. So by that we can get the value of 4-yearly moving average, which is centered. So this value has to be plotted against the third year. So it is came for third year. And the same thing has to be done, that is T2 plus T3 divided by 2, which is equals to C2. So and it is placed in between T2 and T3, which is exactly for the year 4. Fourth year, the C2 value has to be placed. This is a procedure for doing the moving average. Problems on moving average method. The first is on 3-yearly moving average, and we have to represent it in a graph, and also the prediction is asked for the year 2020. So in the question, they only provide year and sales. We have to calculate the 3-yearly moving average. So as I told before, we have to take 3 years one by one. The first 3 years are 2010, 11 and 12. So average of that, 3 plus 4 plus 8 divided by 3, we will get the value 5, and it has to be placed in between the middle of the year, that is 2011 is the middle year for that 3 years. Next we have to calculate that is average is moving, so we have to replace 3 with 6, that is 2011, 12 and 13, and it has to be placed between in 2012 year, 4 plus 8 plus 6 divided by 3. Same procedure need to be continued up to we consider the value of 2019. So in the last, when we take 2017, 18, 19, so the last value 2019 value 12 is considered. So it stops the calculation of 3-yearly moving average. So here 10 plus 14 plus 12 divided by 3, the value is 12. For 3-yearly moving average, first and the last year does not have a trend value or does not have a 3-yearly moving average. For this we have to plot a data on graph. So in this graph, x axis represents year, 1 centimeter equals to 1 year, and y axis represents the sales in lakhs. So 1 centimeter equals to 2 lakhs. Therefore 1 millimeter equals to 50,000. So now we have to draw a graph for sales figures. So the sales figures are drawn according to their values. Next, the trend line is drawn based on the 3-yearly moving average values. So this is the trend line for 3-yearly moving average. It starts from 2011 and ends at 2018. As they asked for predict the value for the year 2020, so we have to extend our trend line up to 2020. So by that, by joining the horizontal and vertical lines, we can predict the value for 2020. So the value is, on the basis of graph, the predicted sales for the year 2020 is rupees 14 lakhs. So by that, we can calculate the 3-yearly moving average and we can predict the value for the years. Next problem is on 5-yearly moving average of number of students studying in a college, and we have to represent this data in the graph. So the question is year and number of students, 5-yearly moving average we need to calculate. So in this, so while taking a 5-yearly moving average, first we have to take a first 5 years, that is from 2010 to 2014, and the middle year for that first 5 years is 2012. So the average has to be placed in front of 2012. The calculation is 330 plus 317 plus 357 plus 392 plus 402 divided by 5. Here 5 years are taken, so it has to be divided with 5, which is equals to 360. And next 5 years has to be taken. First year is left out and the next year is added to that. From 2011 to 2015, middle year is 2013, average need to be calculated. And next 5 years, here this process will continue up to we consider the last value of the series. The last value of the series is 438 for the 2009. The last average is from 2015 to 2019 and the middle year is 2017. So the average value is 417. In 5-yearly moving average, we will not have the 5-yearly moving average for the first 2 years and the last 2 years. These are the trend values for the moving average method. So we have to plot the data on the graph. So here x-axis represents the year, 1 centimeter equals to 1 year, and y-axis represents the number of students. The scale is 1 centimeter equals to 20 students. So 1 millimeter equals to 2 students. So the number of students, that is y value, has to be plotted on the graph, and then we have to plot the values of trend. So here the trend line is not linear, that is it is not in straight line, so we cannot predict the value for future years. In moving average, this is the limitation. For each and every problem we cannot predict with the help of graph, because sometimes it may be linear, that is it may be straight line, or it may not be. If it is a straight line, we can predict the future values. If it is not linear, that is if it is not in a straight line, the trend line is not straight line, then we cannot predict the value for the future years. Next one is 4-yearly moving average. So here also we have to represent it with a graph. Year and sale figures are given in the question, and 4-yearly moving average and 4-yearly moving centered we need to calculate. So in case of 4-yearly moving average, first 4 years average should be calculated, and it has to be written in between the second and third year. That is in this case from 2011 to 2014, 4 years, and it has to be placed in between 2012 and 2013. The average is 36 plus 43 plus 43 plus 34 divided by 4, which is equals to 39. In 4-yearly moving average, we have to divide it by 4 because we have taken 4 years for the average. Then next 4 years has to be considered, and average is 41. And next 4 years average is 43.75. Next 4 years average is 41.5, and the last 4 years, so as we have taken 2018 for the calculation, the process of calculating moving average will end. So by that the average is 39. For 2015 to 2018, average is 39. As I told in the beginning, that is in case of even year moving averages, we have to do one more step, that is centering of that. So in case of centering, we have to take first 2 values of moving average and places in between those 2 values. So it will directly link with 2013. So 39 plus 41 divided by 2. Here we have to divide it by 2 as because we have taken 2 values. Next 2 years, 2 trend values should be considered, and 42.4. And next 2 years 42.6, next 2 years 40.3. These things have to be written in between those 2 values. In case of 3-yearly, 5-yearly moving average, that moving average will be the trend values. But in case of 4-yearly, or it may be 6-yearly, or it may be 8-yearly, the centered values will be the trend values in case of even moving average. One question may arise that how we can choose the moving average. In the examination, they only provide whether to take 3-yearly, 5-yearly or 4-yearly. But in common, based on the length of the data, how many years they have given, we are going to choose the moving average. It may be 3, 4, 5 or 6 or 7, whatever it may be. The calculation procedure will be same. In case of even years, we have to make a center. In case of odd years, no need of doing the centering. So in case of 4-yearly moving average also, the first 2 years and last 2 years don't have a trend values. So this thing has to be plotted in a graph. First we have to take scale, that is x-axis 1 centimeter equals to 1 year and y-axis 1 centimeter equals to 5 crore rupees. So which means for 1 millimeter it will be 50 lakhs. Next, the values of y has to be plotted on the graph. Next, the trend values are 4-yearly moving average centered. Those values are the trend values. Those things has to be taken. Here also the trend line is not linear, which means it is not in straight line. So therefore, for this problem, we cannot estimate the figures with the help of graph. See, the main advantage of moving average is it is objective in nature. Objective means everybody will calculate with the same trend values will be there. And if we take means if we add any more figures to the data, no need to calculate from the beginning as the average is moving. But the main demerit is here there is no functional relationship between time and values. Therefore, this method is not helpful in forecasting the values because it is not always linear. But in case of semi-average method, it is always linear in nature. So we can predict there. But in case of moving average, it is not always linear relationship, and it is also time consuming and difficult to calculate. Thank you for watching. In the next video, I am going to discuss last method, that is least squares method. Thank you.